Welcome to my painting demonstration. This time-lapse and speed painting video will show you how a miniature painting is created. This 5 by 8 centimeter miniature was painted in acrylics on wood, and it was created for the Art Surprise project. As you can see, first of all I applied a sketch in pencil. After that, the first shapes were painted in using acrylic white. The sky and the water followed using cerulean blue. As you can see, I applied the wet into wet technique. Acrylics remain workable for quite a while, so this technique really lends itself to painting with acrylics. We have now reached the stage where the underpainting for the rocks is underway. This was done in Payne's grey. Next, I used acrylic white to give the rocks some texture. I would continue the process until I was happy with the result, adding a bit of colour here and there and arriving at some structures which would give a realistic impression of rocks near the coast. The resolution of the camera does not give us all the details, but believe me, it's there. Now it's time for the underpainting of the grass areas. It may look very bright at this moment in time, but we shall go over the areas later on. As you can see, I now went back to the rocks. Now the acrylic paint had dried a bit, it was possible to add a little more to the structure and the texture of the rocks. We now start on the little creek which is running towards the sea using acrylic white, and raw sienna is employed to lay a little bit more stress on the colour of the pebble beach. A tiny touch of cerulean blue goes into the colour of the creek. Back on the green slopes, we stipple on some lemon yellow to give the impression of grass. This is done whilst holding the brush at different angles to make sure that it does not become too uniform. Still working wet into wet, another layer of lemon yellow is applied to make certain areas look a bit stronger. As you can see, I was not entirely happy with the rock formation, so I went back to them with a little more acrylic white and Payne's grey to shape them the way I wanted them to look. Now it was time for the surf. Acrylic white was employed to shape the waves which were hitting the rocks, and a very thin layer of acrylic white was applied to the surf which was touching the beach. More stippling of lemon yellow on top of some raw sienna on the slopes in the front of the painting would give it the final touch, with a little bit of acrylic white to finish it off.